now.
Okay, yeah. I just don't. I don't like the conversation between the two of them because it's just. I feel like it's sad when you have to make the child feel like it's their responsibility to reach out to the parent. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the age, I don't care how old or young you are. That's still your child. It's your responsibility to build that bond and that relationship with your child. It's not on the child. Even if you do just give them a phone number and say, "Well, I gave them my number. They can reach out to me whenever." I don't like that. I feel like that's a cop out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not that you don't care, but that's how you can make that child feel as if you don't give a crap. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Like it make the child feel like they're lower than they actually are.
right, exactly. And I just don't like that. They put a bad taste in my mouth dealing with people or being around people that had situations where they might have been locked up and then they get out. And again, you just never know what the other parent might have been telling that child. You know what I'm saying? They might have did say you was a bad person, da da da, but it's up to you to show them different. It's not up to the child to figure out what's different. You know what I'm saying?
It's up to the parent to figure out.
It's up to the parent to figure out how to build that bond and how to reach out and show that you really do care. Like, yeah, I might have made some past mistakes or whatever, but this is the reason why. You know what I'm saying? You don't put a bunch of bad stuff on the other parent either. When you do try to get back in contact, you don't be like, well, your mom or your dad said yada yada yada. You just focus on your relationship with that child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just it
You
just
try your best to connect with the child no
exactly.
matter what happens in your own life. That's what you're saying?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Thank you, baby. See, that's my boy right there. You just don't. I don't know. It's just weird because a lot of people do it, and I'm not gonna sit here and like I ain't never do it. And that's something I've been trying to work on. I don't want to bad mouth the other parent in front of the child because it's not that child's place to hear those things for one, and it's not that child's fault for two. But it's just something that I have to work on myself. You know what I'm saying? I
Every
think a lot
parent,
of people have to work on
well,
that.
listen, every parent have to work on something to make themselves a better parent, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And I've been trying to figure out like what's like I asked you earlier, like what you feel like made you, what I'm saying, feel this type of way or that type of way because
You asked me, and that's what made us like how we are today.
yeah,
Why is Nessa so cruel and why I'm depressed?
yeah, and why you get so distant sometimes, like, and you was like, it's nothing that you did. Well, no, baby, that's not necessarily true. It got to be something that make you feel these type of ways because nobody's just naturally born sad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody's actually pretty much born just
Happy.
happy. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm
when a
saying?
baby come
It's
into the
up
world,
and
they might be crying, but they're like, "Freedom! I'm
right.
free."
Exactly. Exactly. So I have to take responsibility for my part on how your mental state might be today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can say, "Oh no, mom, you were great." No, I know I wasn't great. It's a lot of things I know I did wrong. It's a know a lot of things. I know there's a lot of things that I could have did better and corrected.
There's a lot of things that my grandparents, your grandparents, parents from the past did wrong.
Yeah, and sometimes that stuff is passed down. Like people always talk about generational wealth, but like I said in one of my poems before, nobody thinks about generational mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a big issue. Like people tend to pass down their issues on to their kids more so than their wisdom and their finances, and that's not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can put a lot of stuff off on kids
Like in the
that
middle of class, my teacher said, "It's not your fault that you're sad, depressed, you're poor, got lots of money. It's just how your ancestors worked out their lives."
right. Right, exactly. Now, see, I never had a teacher to really go too in depth on stuff like that. But see, that just shows you his maturity, his growth in
She.
life, her growth. I'm sorry, her growth in life. You know what I mean? Because she probably had to sit down and ask herself a lot of questions like, why do I do this and why do I do that? And I'd rather y'all be open and talk about it now while you still young, than let it burden you later on down the line, and future generations have to pay for it. Because that's basically how a lot of stuff with me went down. That's how my mental health was messed up because I would hold those emotions in because especially and it's not to bring race into it, but to be honest, like that's a lot of black people's problem.
Really.
Like they don't face their issues head on.
We always keep it deep
Right.
inside.
What goes on in the home stays in the home type of mentality. And in the way that is true, in the way certain things you do supposed to keep within the home, but if it's hurting you,
if it's
you have to
hurting you
express
so
it.
bad that it feel like a dagger stabbing you in the heart, you have to tell someone.
See, when you make comments like that, that makes me go back to like, what was it in your growth process that make you feel that way? Because there has to be a personal feeling for you to describe it in such a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. But see, that's why I say it's not up to the child to reach out and ask these things and express these things just out of the blue, which a lot of people start to do when they're in their 20s and 30s. That's what they start to do. All of a sudden, now you want to have those conversations with your parents, but it's stuff that your parents should have along the way when they see certain signs. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I ask you that, and I'm asking for an honest opinion. Like I said, it's not gonna make me feel no type of way. Excuse me. It's not gonna make me feel no type of way in a bad sense, or it's not gonna break my heart for you telling me your truth.
With me, I feel like you should always express yourself.
Right.
Expressing yourself show how powerful you are inside.
There you go. There you go. And it begins to reflect on the outside.
Right.
So that's I'm gonna ask you again.
On YouTube though, ma.
Baby, it don't matter. You turn the camera on. We was talking about these people's situation, and it got a little personal. So yeah,
Sure.
I'm gonna ask you again. What is it in your upbringing other than the constant moving that made you feel so hurt inside?
Mm,
You do know.
I don't
You
know.
was just expressing yourself so very well and actually. So I know
But
you know.
with me, I think it's just all the listening to other people. I'm just getting aggravated through that.
What you mean listening to other people?
Like looking at the news today,
Mm-hmm.
hearing how people talk about each other.
Mm-hmm.
Black communities, white communities, just all the communities. You hear how they talk to each other. Makes me feel sad inside. Then
So you taking on
I'm
the
taking on
world's problem as your own.
right.
Yeah, that's a trait you got from me too. That's something that I've been learning not to do also throughout the years. I was actually looking at a past post that said something very similar to that. You know what I mean? So you gotta realize, yeah, that can be very messed up. And I'm not saying ignore it, but deal with it differently. You can't see you're like a deep empath. You feel your emotions and you feel the world's emotions and other people around you. You feel those emotions very strongly, and you have to learn to control that. So not ignore it, but learn to control it.
What I want to do is just to make the world better.
But
Like
baby, that's not just solely up to you. You make the world better one step at a time, one person at a time.
I tell everybody at my school that this world ain't great. The country ain't great. The world ain't great. Other countries ain't great. We all have our problems.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say America's the greatest country. You can't say that.
You sound like your mouth. Come on, okay, go ahead.
You can't say that. You have to say, well, America has problems. So we have to work on those problems to become great.
Right.
No matter what skin color, what religion, what anything, you have to work on it.
Mm-hmm. You right. You definitely right about that.
We're done? Or
No, I was just saying that people. I was letting you talk. I was trying not to interrupt you because I noticed also with myself I have a tendency of comparing my story to other people's stories. And I noticed I was doing that a second ago, so I was like, let me shut up and let the man talk.
oh, it seems like I thought this went off. But go your turn, Mom.
But yeah, I mean, basically what you said, it rings a lot of bells. That's why I say you are a lot like me, and I don't mean it in bad ways because I know one thing me and my mama had talked about is